Thanks for staying with us. So, come May 29th, 2021, barely 26 days from now, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu led administration will be clocking 2 years in the office. And also, we're also celebrating May Day. So join us on the show this morning to share some of the accounts of the stewardship of the state in the basic education area, which is the bedrock of any society. Is the chairman, Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, Honorable Wahab Alawiye-King. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Glad to be here.
All right, you can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 09139076948. You can tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweet. All right, sir. So the governor equipped over 13,000 public school teachers with devices recently to help increase their teaching abilities and to improve learning outcomes in students. Could you tell us about the acceptability of this equipment, and is it helping public education and basic education in Lagos State?
Thank you very much. Let me start on the lighter and a positive note that EVA TVC has prided itself as a great place to work. We can equally say that your view with Morayo on TVC is a place to be when it comes to issue of socio-economic, socio-political, and every other thing. So the best place to be is your view with Morayo.
So thank you very much, sir.
That is
Thank
good.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And like I have said, EcoSL is a phenomenon in the sense that it is a complete transformation of the way we do things in the primary education sector. And the idea is to bring the best out on our pupil, to instill discipline, inculcate right value in them, using the character board in the classroom, to encourage and to bring the best out in them, like I have said. It is infusion and integration of technology into a classroom, using tab that are specially structured to give lecture notes in our classroom. So it is part of the third pillar of Mr. Governor. That is education and technology. That is what EcoSL is all about.
Yeah, so I'm very happy about what Lagos State is doing. So I have a fear that other states are not, copying Lagos as fast as, especially when it comes to public education. And I want to ask, I know this is about Lagos State and what you have achieved so far. So 2 questions in one. First, is public education still free? Or because we still hear people say that they are asked to pay 1 or 2 things when they come to register their awards, 1. Secondly, is there any way, or have you seen the body language of other states in finding out what Lagos State is doing and trying to learn from Lagos State?
Thank you very much. We have to start with our mandate. Our mandate is to provide free, compulsory, equitable, whole-inclusive, relevant education in the state, and the emphasis on the free aspect of it. It is free, it is compulsory, and that is backed by so many laws. The UBEC law, the SUBEB law, the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, the Constitution, the National Policy on Education, and all other charter and other convention that has to do with education. It is free and it is compulsory. So paying anything out of it is not acceptable anyway. That is one aspect of the question. The other aspect has to do with...
other states, are they coming to learn from Lagos?
Just recently, the Dawn Commission, which is the institution that is saddled with responsibility of facilitating the socio-economic development of Southwest, just came to Lagos to understudy us, particularly doing this EcoSL training. And the idea behind that is to come and see what we are doing and to see how they can, recommend that to other parts of the state. Edo State, for instance, is equally doing this. As a matter of fact, we went to Edo to see what they are doing with Edo-based before we started our own program, and that is what we are doing. So there are some states that are showing interest to come and understudy what we are doing in Lagos, and when this system is fully adopted nationally, I think it's going to improve the learning and teaching outcome in our classrooms.
Well done, sir. So with the EcoSL, I mean, in fact, for us, we just always hear the word EcoSL. And we understand in Nigeria, there's something about sometimes you have policy, but then it does not reflect in the people themselves. So I would like to ask, since you adopted this way, how would you say it has affected students' performances in exams? And how would you say it has affected teachers' teaching methods and teaching styles?
Well, thank you very much. What we did at the beginning of the program is to do a diagnostic assessment, a kind of a baseline assessment of the program to know where we stand. You understand? We started with 300 schools, and at the middle of that program, we were able to do a benchmark assessment, which is an interim assessment to compare, to be able to do a comparative analysis of schools who were under a co-excel and those who were not under a co-excel. And to be honest with you, the result, the outcome was very, amazing and encouraging. That shows that the program is working. Wow. So that is that.
All right. I know we're starting with a co-excel because there are other parts of basic education that we are worried about, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I need to understand, what are the administrative benefits of this? Because it's one thing to have a device in your classroom that is helping you to teach. It's another thing to actually help the administrators, people like you, the regulators. How does that device help you administrate better for the teachers?
Thank you very much. A co-excel is about, inculcating discipline that I have told you. And I have a device in my office. I have a dashboard. As a matter of fact, on my phone, I should be able to monitor what is happening in classroom, in real time.
Oh, really? As you can see, as you are aware, you can monitor what's going on in the classroom.
Monitor what is happening in classroom. A co-excel is designed, to monitor and track teachers. You understand, with time on task. To the incidence of...
this is good.
Chairman, calm down. Because if I tell you to open your phone now and tell me what's going on in Ali Moshood this minute, can you tell me?
Yeah, I can tell you now. I should be able to tell you. Unfortunately, the school has not gone now.
Okay, so
I should be able to tell you what is happening, you understand? I will just put it on, and, just give me the name of a school. I put it on, the school will come on, tell me the number of the pupil, tell me the number of the teacher, tell me what is happening in class 1A, class 1B. So those are the things the co-excel, is right in real time too. So it is used to identify and track the teachers. With that, we are able to monitor what they are doing.
So if the teacher is not in school,
if the teacher is not in school, we can tell. Because it's geo-reference. It can geolocate them, what you are doing. I can even monitor the life of the battery. You can't tell me because the battery is not working. That's why you cannot play.
I know that's a good excuse.
You understand? From my device, I will tell you the percentage of your battery, and you will tell me the reason why you have not been able to clock in.
So you have no choice
but... So we use that to monitor, what is happening in our classroom. And with that bring about performance audit. You understand? It let us know what is happening, value added. Lagosian are actually getting what they are paying for.
Let me follow up. So because I consult for schools and I started a program where we, empower teachers on the 21st century teaching methods. And I had a conversation with one of the facilitators who she had done her PGD at Open University in Nigeria. And we were discussing, she told me that it's not as if the public schools do not have all of these methodologies in their curriculum. It's embedded there. But the problem between those schools and the schools that actually practice is implementation. So they know the skills, they have been taught the skills, but there is no follow-up for them to implement. And that's why we don't see it as learning outcomes with the children. Now, this is a device that is going to probably supervise implementation. Are they apparatus? Because, it's just starting. So after a while, people, the human factor, are they apparatus to ensure that this implementation is taken seriously so that we can see it reflect on the children and their learning outcomes?
Thank you very much. That is why the monitoring and evaluation aspect of the program is very key to us. You can't have a program of such magnitude without monitoring that aspect. So we have internal monitoring mechanism that monitor the content. We monitor the delivery style of the teachers. We monitor the content to be able to define and identify if we are really getting money's worth from what we are doing. So that is very important. Monitoring aspect of the program is key to us. So we have the learning and development officers from the technical partners who monitors what is going on in the school. We have the basic education quality assurance officers that determine what happened with the delivery style, the content, you know, the instructions. These are the things we need to monitor. We can have the best of infrastructure. We can have the best of teacher. How do we now monitor what is really coming out of that, you know, program and the services we are doing? So our focus is to be able to get, you know, the responses from what we have paid for. Right. From the investment the state government has done, we should be able to monitor it effectively and efficiently.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well done, sir. But also, I think another thing we need to do is look at the infrastructure on ground, so the physical schools themselves. You know that in Nigeria, when you look at other states, you would see pictures of schools in very dilapidated conditions. I wonder what Lagos State is doing concerning increasing more physical schools, improving the infrastructure.
Thank you very much. The education transformation agenda of these administrations is hinged on 3 major pillars. It has to do with infrastructure renewal, which we just mentioned, teachers' empowerment and infusion of technology into a classroom. For the purpose of our discussion now, your question, the infrastructural renewal aspect. There are 3 or 4 agencies working together to ensure that we continue to renew our infrastructure in Lagos State. SUBEB, you know, with a combination of UBEC, you know, fund coming from UBEC, we are renewing and we are providing the structures and infrastructure. LASIAMA, which is another agency, you know, Lagos State Infrastructure and Asset Management Agency, is also building and maintaining. We have the Special Committee on Public School Rehabilitation, who is also doing the same work. The Ministry of Education, the Works Department in the Ministry of Education is equally doing the same thing. So you can see the massive, the aggressive way we are trying to renew all our infrastructures. You know, not only the physical infrastructure, you understand, all other emotional infrastructure also we are trying to do. Let me let you know that when we came on board, on a daily basis, I received requests for furnitures from different LGE. And I'm happy to report here today that I am getting, you know, letters from LGE of excess furnitures.
Wow.
So we must give it to Mr. Governor for the determination, for the commitment, you know, he has shown in trying to transform this sector.
Let me come to an issue that people have raised concerning public school transfer. So I have a child that is in maybe Koshofen local government public school and wants to relocate to maybe somewhere in Surulere, maybe because I just, as a family, we relocated. And she now needs to go. Why is it so cumbersome to get words to transfer within the Lagos State educational system? Maybe
they are not following the proper route. We have a department that's in charge of that responsibility, the school support services. And if you have transfer to be done, there are processes. There are standard operating procedure you must follow to be able to do that. And it's seamless as long as you follow the normal procedure.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing I discovered in the course of my research is the fact that special needs education is lacking. We really do not have enough professionals in that sphere. And, you know, UBEC, like you have mentioned, has also mentioned inclusive education, meaning that we're not supposed to have special schools for special needs students. We're supposed to include them in the classroom and teach everybody. Is Lagos State government doing anything in terms of empowering professionals to handle special needs students in the traditional classroom?
Thank you very much. Lagos State is one of the states that adopted and accepted that policy when it first introduced. In Lagos, we have 31 inclusive units. And the idea is to, you know, bring all the pupils together, regardless of their physical, you know, disability and all that. So we have that 31 inclusive units in this school. It is part of our mandate. Our mandate must make education equitable, all-inclusive for all and sundry. So that is that. Although we have about 5 special schools for those who are under special category that cannot, if we really want to, you know, train them, if we really want them to learn at the rate, you understand, we must separate those categories. So we have 5 special schools, but other who are in, you know, lighter or category, they are part of our inclusive unit. We have 31 of such schools in Lagos State.
Okay, sir. Let's talk about the curriculum of the public school education vis-a-vis private school. And many people have said, oh, the reason why we take our children out of public school or don't want to put them in public school is because the private school curriculum is more robust. Is that the case as of today since EcoExcel, or are parents just not well informed on what has been happening since?
Thank you very much. The government alone cannot do it. Education is a social good. The demand for goods, demand for such good outweighs the supply. That is why the space is open up for the private sector to come on board, but not at the expense of quality and standard. You cannot develop your own curriculum. We have one national curriculum, and that is what everybody is using. You understand? We are not only operators in the basic education sector. We are also, enforcers. We are also, making sure that they follow the rules. So there are rules to be followed. You understand? Curriculum is important. Our curriculum must be pupil-centric. That make it more collaborative, more cooperative, and it makes it more productive. So that is why the curriculum from the center determine how all schools, go. Your curriculum is your goal, the goal you have set for yourself. It determines where you go. So if the curriculum is not pupil-centric, there is no way you're able to achieve your goal. So curriculum is very important when it comes to basic education sector. It must be culture sensitive. You understand? It must be age appropriate to capture all this.
Let me go on a break because you talk about culture sensitive. We'll talk about language in a moment. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we've talked about the good news. Let's talk about the not so good news we're hearing from the public school sector, like issues of poor running water, potable water in schools. Many have talked about, you talked about the infrastructure of tables and chairs, which is great. But many have reported that in the schools, even though during this COVID period, they lacked running water. How have you been able to fix that problem?
Thank you very much. We don't see that as a challenge. We have 1,016 schools in the state, and over 89% of those schools have running water, one form of running water or the other. You can go there and check. And we have other intervention programs from all over the place that is also assisting us when it comes to the issue of water, particularly at this period of COVID. The safety protocol of COVID allows us to have water that is running in our school. So you can go to our school and you will see that over 89% of our schools have running water.
Aside from the potable water, what about the sick bays in the school? How equipped are they? Are they available? What about the toilets? How good are they? Are they what human beings can use? Thank
you very much. When it talks of toilets, we are making every attempt to make sure that our toilets are modern and available. We got intervention from members of the Federal House of Representatives, the senators. For instance, Senator Alawiye-King has been able to provide over 100 motorized borehole, toilet, and things like that. We have other NGOs that have also been assisting us in this regard, just to make sure that we have, modern toilet in our school.
The sick bays?
The sick bays are also available in our school, although they are not as much as we wanted it to be. Mr. Governor has just approved, the provision of first aid boxes in all our schools to complement what the sick bays are doing.
Yeah, so when we were talking about curriculum, you said something about the curriculum has to also be culture sensitive. And also that now brings me to the question about the Yoruba language being taught in schools and how I think EcoExcel is making it a priority. But for me, growing up in Plateau State Jos, when I went to school, I learned Igbo in school because the main language spoken in Jos is Hausa. So when you are in the school, you get to learn Igbo. Why do you think it's important to learn Yoruba in Lagos State?
Thank you very much. Like I have told you, as part of our mandate, our education must be relevant to the socio-cultural affinity of the host community. That, let us know that using mother language is very much important in what we do. Your language is your identity. And in order for you to be able to comprehend, particularly at that formative stage, your mother tongue is very important. Because of the period we found ourselves, we have not been able to properly incorporate Yoruba into language into the Eco-Excel, because our pupils come to school twice, 2.5 days a week. So what we focus on primarily now is the literacy, numeracy, and the general paper, because of the fact that we don't have enough time to capture. But Yoruba is part of what Eco-Excel is to do.
Now, let me talk about insecurity. I mean, across the country, we've seen issues where children are being kidnapped. What is your government doing to ensure that our pupils are safe in public schools? That's one. And number two, let me let you answer that question first before I get to the second.
Well, thank you very much. To be honest with you, the sector is under siege. A war of attrition has been declared. We are under threat, particularly from the Hope Country area, the northern part of Nigeria. That is why the federal government in 2014, came up with a program known as the Safe School Initiative. The idea behind the Safe School Initiative is to mobilize funds, you understand, through, business leaders, world leaders, to ensure that the issue of insecurity in our schools are, adequately addressed. They had to move pupils and students from, troubled area to more secure area. That is on the part of the federal government to address the issue of, insecurity. In Lagos, for instance, we have witnessed 1 or 2 instances of, kidnapping in the past, and that has prepared us for, things to be done. Just recently, the Commissioner of Police in Lagos, with all other stakeholders in the education sector, came together to address the issue. Mr. Governor, at that level, also had a meeting with the security committee to define and come up with strategy as how to, man all our schools. It's a security issue. The nitty-gritty of the discussion cannot be shared here because of the sensitive nature of what, But I can assure you that in Lagos State, in the area of security, we are on top of it. We are working with the Lagos State Safety Commission. We are working with Lagos State Security Trust Fund and all other relevant security agencies to address the issue of our security in our schools.
Okay, so what about the federal government school feeding program? Is it applicable in Lagos State?
Well, thank you very much. The National Homegrown School Feeding Program is one of the social programs of the federal government, and it was adopted in all over the state in the federal setting, and Lagos was not an exception. We key into the program, sometime, last year, and we have started with the program. We have been providing, 1 day a meal for our pupils, and the idea is to improve upon their well-being and their welfare in terms of their health and the mental state. Also, it was developed to ensure that enrollment, retention, and transfer rate of our pupils are encouraged, and we have been doing that in Lagos State. During the lockdown, a modified, school feeding program was introduced where the federal government, distributed dry food instead of cooked food. And the school is resuming tomorrow. We have trained all the food vendors, which is a requirement. They must do that on the yearly basis to ensure that we have, very safe,
so in simple terms, is school feeding starting tomorrow?
No, not actually. We have done everything that is required. We are waiting on the federal government to give us a go at it. The program was designed, financed, and, implemented by the federal government. So we are waiting on their direction.
Okay, so I'm getting a few tweets, and most of it saying that this thing sounds just too good to be true. There must be challenges that you face, and maybe you'd want it to be better done with the Eco-Excel. So what would you say are the challenges right now?
Well, thank you. One of the challenges is the data capturing. You understand? We realized that in getting data, it was very difficult for us to get the data. That is why we want to make our board a data-driven, administration or organization to ensure that our decisions are based on informed data. You understand? It's one thing to have data. It's another thing to have data that are effective, that will guide your decision. So one challenge we are facing right now is data gathering, and we are working on that too.
So let's talk about data for a second. So recently the governor gave out 12 cars. Was that based on data or based on just picking 12 teachers that are doing well in public schools?
Well, thank you very much. That was Mr. Governor made that commitment when he came for the graduation ceremony of the first set of the ECO-SL. At that ceremony, he said he's going to reward those who are doing great as our teachers. And we came up with a plan to have a committee in place. And one thing that is different with this committee is that it's private sector driven. You understand? The chairman of the committee, Mrs. Koiki, is an accomplished educationist. Yes. And we have other people that have supported her to make that, you know. One important thing that set that ceremony apart is that the teacher get to nominate themselves. You get to nominate yourself, tell them what you have done, and based on the information you have provided, they're able to come up with some of these things.
We have to wrap up now, but I must ask this about the riverine areas. It seems as if they've been abandoned. Sometimes, because it's so difficult to access them, you have to go through water. Is your administration ensuring that the schools within those communities are not abandoned in this whole change?
As part of our mandate, we are to provide all-inclusive education, and all-inclusive means everybody must be involved, must be taken care of. We have a BECA, Basic Education Quality Assurance Officer, that go out there and monitor what is happening in our riverine area. They are called the hard-to-reach area. So we go there on a weekly basis to know what is happening. And from the report we are getting, it's been very, very positive. We will be monitoring you, sir. I mean, I'm happy that you come on show.
Following up. It sounds good, but, you know, now that you said it on TV, people will go out and check.
Let them check. Not only that, this is the era of social media. You understand? Mr. Governor is getting information on a daily basis. And the good thing about him...
do videos.
And yes, they will do it and send video. And Mr. Governor, in his own, you know, character, will just send it back to him. Mr. Chairman, go and act on this immediately. So there is no way you can hide anywhere these days with the advent of social media.
All right, that's all we can do. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for coming to the show today. We appreciate your contribution. Okay, that's all we can take on the show today. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.